Tokyo, Japan. My name is Gary Verheller, and I'll be your host for what we call the Substance of Living podcast. Today, we'll look at what we call life's lessons. And I hope this will provide you with some insight, maybe even some inspiration to life's challenges. Hello, and welcome to episode 30, entitled Competition Part 2, Pure. I tell my wife I am pure in every way. And she says, yeah, right, go wash the dishes. Well, today I want to talk to you about pure competition. What do I mean by pure competition? Pure competition is when my opponent challenges me to be better because my opponent is doing his best. And my opponent inspires me to be better because I know my opponent is doing his best. And pure competition is a celebration. If I win, my opponent celebrates because he knows that I've done my best in competition with him. And if he wins, I celebrate because I know he's done his best. We push each other. We challenge each other. We inspire each other to be at our best. Let me tell you a short story about how this works in reality. When I was living in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I was pretty much a runner. I would run on an average of 10 kilometers, which is 6 miles every day. And there was a special route I took. Part of that route was to go down this long hill by the airport called Gibson, for those of you in Albuquerque who know the street. Go down Gibson Avenue, and then I would come to Yale. And you take a left and go up to the airport. Now, Yale was really insidious because it was a little decline. Then you had an incline, and it would level off, and then you'd have an even steeper incline up to the top. Well, I would run this route with two good friends of mine, Frank and Bill Hammertree, who we called Tree. Frank was a wrestler, an extraordinary wrestler, really rated. And Bill Hammertree was a linebacker for Illinois State University, so he was a big guy, very, very muscular. In fact, we called him Tree. So the three of us would be running down Gibson, and all of us were staying together. Even though Frank and I were a little faster, we would stay with Tree. And we got down to Yale, and then we take the turn to go up to the airport. And we're all together on that small decline. And then that incline would come, and I would kick up the speed just a little bit. And Frank would be right on my shoulder. I couldn't really see him, but he was right there on my shoulder. And I was thinking, yeah, this is great. Now Bill is starting to drop back a little bit. We'd hit that first plateau, and then we'd hit that next big incline, and I'd kick it into the next gear. And Frank was still right on my shoulder, and we're just pushing each other. And I kept on running a little faster and a little faster and a little faster, and he stayed right with me all the way up to the top of the hill. Now, Bill Hammertree was saying, give me a rock, so I want to throw rocks at you guys, and because he was falling behind us. But the idea was we all pushed each other. We made each other better. We challenged each other. We inspired each other. And we celebrated once we got to the top of that hill. And that to me is pure competition. There's other things that you benefit with good, pure competition. One, it helps me to work under pressure. Because you're under pressure, you're performing, other people are with you many times, and as a result, it helps you learn how to handle pressure. It's a test of your skills. It's a reality check. You couldn't role play this. You couldn't read about it. You couldn't watch a video about it and have the same effect. It's a reality check. It's true reality showing you what you can do. And that's great. You can learn from your losses too. All experiences are experiences from which you can learn. I reject the idea of failures. In fact, what I do is I'll ask MBA candidates that I'm working with to prepare them for their interviews. I'll ask a question, what is your greatest failure? And that seems to be opposites. Greatest failure? And so what I suggest to them is that they learn to take these abstracts, greatest and failure, and define them in their own terms and then give an example. Because even from a failure, you have all this tremendous amount of experience and information from that failure that you can build on, and what failed to work this way, maybe you can go this way. That's science. That's how scientists progress. An experiment fails, why? Let's try it this way, let's try it that way. And they make step-by-step progress. That's also true in competition. Pure competition, if you lose, and remember, I don't believe in the win-lose situation. You're learning about yourself. You're learning about the situation. You're learning about your opponents. Now you can build on that and improve yourself. That's something I love. It improves your risk analysis to determine, should I go faster up that hill? Should I go slower? To see how you can adjust, how you can determine risks, and what actions you can take for them. Another thing, it improves teamwork and collaboration. Now, in other videos, I talked about three things: cooperation, collaboration, and synergy. I want to repeat what I was talking about, because I think it's a very valuable concept. Those are three valuable concepts. Cooperation. Cooperation means simple, pure professionalism. Let me explain. If you're waiting on a platform for a train, the train pulls up, the people on the platform wait, they're cooperating. They wait for the people to get off the train, and then they board the train. That's cooperation. That's basic professionalism. Next is collaboration, number 2, collaboration. It's working together, just like cooperation, working together and creating something. For example, I have the great good fortune of working at MIRAICON, the National Museum of Emerging Science and Innovation. It is considered one of the best, if not the best, science center in the world. We have real scientists on the floor that engage people in dialogue, explaining the science of every exhibit. Each exhibit is designed and overseen by active scientists in the field, and we have 14 spaces for cutting-edge research laboratories under the same roof. It's one of the best. MIRAICON cooperates with all entities, with all institutes. We collaborate with only the best, creating traveling exhibits, for example, and working by exchanging staff. So that's collaboration. Cooperation, basic professionalism, working together. Collaboration, working together, and creating. Now we come to synergy, number 3. Synergy is working together and creating based upon each member's individual strengths. A good example of that is a basketball team. You have a center who's normally taller, gets the rebounds. You have a playmaker. You have an outside shooter, an inside shooter, a person who can shoot the lane. So those five players combine to make a team that win. Individually, they couldn't do it. Together as a team, they can. So what I'm suggesting is competition can improve teamwork, improve cooperation, improve collaboration, and improve synergy. One more thing. No longer win or lose. Rather, my suggestion is learn from the experience. Learn and understand myself so that I can improve myself, so that I can be at my best, to give my best when my opponent gives his best, to challenge me and to inspire me. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today for the Substance of Living podcast. If you'd be kind enough to consider subscribing, you can contact us through Spotify or Apple Podcasts or connect on Twitter. Join us again next time for what I hope will help you navigate life.